What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Tiny Whoop headquarters. I'm Jesse P, and I'm making this video to show you guys how to use the track builder in TWGO. First of all, if you bought the track builder or you're a member of the Creators Club, welcome, and thank you for supporting this project. I think you're going to love it. I'm having a blast with it. Let's check it out. So, as you can see, I'm right here on the startup screen, and what we're going to do is go to Tracks and My Tracks, and you can see I've got two tracks here. Quickly, I'm going to delete this one and go down to the bottom. Let's make a new one, and we're going to call this one Super Track Time, everyone. And for the location, I'm going to pick the Go Dome. You guys can explore the different locations, but I really like the Go Dome. And then just click Create New Track. You can see there's the edit button that lets you change the name and stuff. The build button lets you make it private or public. So right now it's private, so you can build. But if I click this like that, you can see it says track is safe, available to fly, and it's not available for building right now. But I want to do some building on it, so I'm going to click this, make the little building symbol appear. And then I go back to my favorites, and you can see my Super Track Time Everyone course is in here, and let's get in there. So I click Fly Solo, pick up my transmitter, go to Creators Club, Super Track Time everyone. So right away, we're sitting in a Tiny Whoop inside the Go Dome, and if I arm the quad with my throttle down to the right, you can fly around this gigantic dome. This dome is huge. The ceilings are 60 meters tall, and it's just a huge blank canvas packed with potential. So it's in fact too blank, so we're gonna hit the build button.
Builder active. You can now move using mouse and A, W, S, D keys.
I should have said the build button is B. Press B on your keyboard and it opens up the builder. So first of all, I'm no longer in my Tiny Whoop, and just like the guy said, you can use WASD to move around. So just kind of like a lot of gaming platforms, WASD moves you around. If you hold shift, you move even faster. And if you hold right click, you can sort of go up and down and just fly all around. It's really fun. Alright, so that's how you move around. As you can see, we've got these blue buttons for load locally and save locally, and load to cloud, save to cloud. And then we've got the renumber zones button, which I'm going to show you guys that one in just a second. That's what you're going to use at the end of creating your course to tell the system what order people have to fly through the gates. So a lot of controls described right here, but I'm going to go through them. So start up by pressing F1. And you can see we've got this new menu that shows all the available gates on F1. There's also F2, F3, and F4 right now. There will be more Fs later. But for now we've got F1, and I'm just going to use the numbers on my keyboard to drop some gates and show you what they do. F1, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 8. Let's cruise down here and have a look at these gates. So, this gate I just created by pressing F1 and then 1 on my keyboard. I can grab it and drag it anywhere, put it anywhere on my course. And while you're holding it, or just while you're highlighting it, you can press the C button to change the color quickly. You can press the R button to rotate, and hold right click and press the R button to rotate it back. You can press the T key to tilt it, or right click T to tilt it back. And you can press plus or minus to raise the diameter, and you can see there's a little diameter description on the ground. Right now it's 1 meter in diameter, so it's a huge gate, and there's 3 different sizes of that particular gate. This one's exactly the same as that one. You can change the color, change the tilt, change the size, change the rotation. It's all really self-explanatory, super easy to do. Here's the classic Tiny Whoop gate. Oops. You guys might remember this classic Tiny Whoop gate. And it does not have size changing. So this gate I put in the sim to completely represent your real Tiny Whoop gates that you guys have in your living rooms. You can't make it bigger and make it easier to fly. It is huge, 19-inch inside diameter, just like the spec that we created for MultiGP a couple years ago. And it does have some other features though. If you press C, you can add some Christmas lights to it. You can tilt it, of course. You can rotate it. And yeah, it's a really fun gate, obviously. And then we got this version, the original square version, also has colors, rotating, tilt, all that. Here's the cube gate, which also cannot be resized because it represents the actual cube gate that we have at tinywhip.com. This is a really fun, versatile gate that you guys are going to have a lot of fun with in the builder. Number 6 is this, one of my favorite gates actually. It's this sweet stackable gate, so I can drop another one on top of it, and I could make a ladder that goes all the way up if I wanted. And now, if you notice, it doesn't have those really annoying little pegs that used to get in the way. Anyway, this gate doesn't have any other sizes. It's locked on this size, but of course you can change the color and the rotation. Then over here we got the pylons. And you might say, Jesse, why is there 2 pylons? Because you could just do this and it's the same as that one. But in fact, we need them to be one for each direction. The little arrow on the ground tells you the direction you're going to be flying through it. So if you're taking a left-hand turn, you're going to go this way. You want to go through this pylon. And if you're taking a right-hand turn, you're going to go this way. You want to use this pylon. But these pylons are a little bit cooler than even that, I guess. First of all, you can change the size. But you can also change the size of the hitbox by holding right-click and pressing plus and minus. And that like makes the hitbox go out. So you're probably wondering why you would want to do that. Well, if you have another gate right here that's also in your course, maybe it's like part of this section, and you've got a pylon over here, you don't want the hitbox of this pylon to like extend into the pathway of your course. You want it to be as long as possible, but not so long that it would ever get in the way of another normal flight pattern, especially for when you're renumbering the zones. So that's why you've got to also adjust the size of the hitbox using right-click, plus or minus, but super intuitive and easy to do. So that, let's bring this one back over here. That is all the gates on F1. Let's take a look at F2. Here we go, press F2, a whole new selection. I'm actually going to delete these really quick by pressing the delete key. And alright, so here we go with F2. I'm going to press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go through these ones. This first one, guys, is like a kid's play tunnel. It's one of the original TinyWhoop features that I started buying. As soon as I got into TinyWhoop and we created TinyWhoop, I bought a whole bunch of kids' tunnels and dog agility tunnels. And because it's such a classic course feature, we put it in the simulator. This one does have lots of colors, and it can be placed on tilted surfaces, etc. It's really fun. Here's our famous mirror tunnel, also known as the infinity tunnel. This thing is really fun. Obviously you can change the colors, but one thing I kind of recommend is dropping a gate on the end, and changing the color of it, because it really makes for awesome reflections when you look down it. As you can see, you start to get some, you know, really cool effects. I also like to stack multiples of these, so I'll just go like this, you know, and put them next to each other like that. Let's see. I mean, I'll fly this later so you guys can see what it looks like, but it looks awesome. And then I always change the colors so you don't have the same 2 colors next to each other ever. But that's really fun. And I'll fly through that in just a minute. By the way, anytime you want, you can press B, hop on board your TinyWhoop, and fly through the course you're creating. And that's really important for course building. You know, you don't want to have to compile the course you're working on and then export it and then fly it. When you're building a course, if you're like a master builder, you know you have to fly it often. You really need to get to know the flow of your course. So being able to press B and jump on board a TinyWhoop anytime you want is super useful and actually really important in my opinion. So here we've got 3 and 4, this black thing, and of course the cone. And these cones, you already know what they're for. Like if you create a course, you want to tell people where to go, you just sort of do this and it tells everybody where to go. I'm just putting tons of cones. You can change the color on these. But they have a secret feature. Both of these items, you can have gates on top of them. So I'm going to press F1 real quick, drop a gate there, and you can see I've got these 2 gates, and they're sort of stuck to what's underneath them. And on both of these, I can press plus or minus, raise them up and lower them down, which is kind of interesting. The only reason you'd want to use a cone is so you can drag it around like this, but you can also, you know, raise up a gate, and if you want it to be floating there without anything, you can actually just delete that thing, and you can even, you know, delete this cone, and yeah, then there it is. When you move it again, it sinks back to the ground, but I'm just actually going to remove those. Going back to F2, so we've got the arrow, which this is sort of a replacement for people that don't like using tons of cones to show your course. You know, I really like my courses to be sight readable so that somebody, like the first time they show up in the course, they don't have to wonder too much where the course is. You can pretty much find your way around, and these arrows turn out to be really useful for that. You can press the C button to change the color. You can make them actually really big or pretty small too. I didn't know they got that small. I've never made them smaller. But yeah, those are really useful for indicating your course, although we do have the LED route indicator that I'll show you in a minute. The next new feature we added is this little tiny Big Whoop sticker. This is the original Big Whoop sticker going all the way back to 2015 when Team Big Whoop was born. By the way, Team Big Whoop gave birth to Tiny Whoop, sort of. But Team Big Whoop is me and 6 other pilots, and it became an iconic sticker because we used to go to every race and just put stickers on everything. So because I'm part of the development team for this sim, I really wanted to have this sticker in here, and it's sort of become a scavenger hunt sticker. There's other courses in the sim that have Big Whoop stickers in them, hidden, and this sort of allows you to, after you build your course, you know, fill this arena with all of your course materials or whatever, you can hide these stickers somewhere on your course, and I think you can hide up to 20 of them, and it just sort of adds a little extra game, a scavenger hunt onto your course. I think it's really fun. Next, we've got the launch pad, and yeah, you're thinking we already have a launch pad, and there's even a Tiny Whoop sitting on this one. But once you drop a new launch pad by pressing F2 number 7, anywhere you put this, and again this can rotate and all that, anywhere you put this becomes your new launch pad, and it won't work until you reload the course. So I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going to slide it over there because we're about to build a course over there. And then finally, we've got this LED runner right here. And of course, this is just for visual effects, and it's kind of fun to play with. You can stack a bunch of them up and put them all next to each other, do all kinds of crazy effects, make it really Tiny Whoop style. You can change the color, you can make it longer, change the size. This is just a nice little extra feature that was added at the last second to add some visual effects to your course and bring in a little bit more Tiny Whoop LED style, which now you can really do in this course, especially with the mirror tunnel. So, what's next? That's all the F2s, I think. Let's go to F3. Boom. There's only one thing on F3 right now, and that is my favorite block, this wooden block right here. So let's go over here and take a look at it. You can see it's got this wooden texture on it, and just like you would probably think, you can press plus to make it bigger, minus to make it smaller. You can rotate it, and then interestingly, you can tilt this thing. And remember, this block is pretty cool because you can place stuff on any surface. Like I could put a gate on any surface and really have fun messing with a course using this thing. But it's also been used to build houses. Somebody in Florida built a whole bar out of this block because it's versatile in this way too. I forgot to tell you. If you hold right click and use your arrow keys, you can start to make all kinds of interesting shapes. You can make any shape you can think of. So like right now, I'm going to send this one over here for a course we're about to make. And I'll show you that a little bit more with that in just a sec. If I press F4, we've got a couple more options here. I'm not going to show you this third one because it's not released to everybody quite yet. But 1 and 2, the route sequencer and the track leaderboard, pretty cool features. Let's go over here by where our track is going to be in just a minute. I'll drop that there. And one of each, just by pressing 1 and 2 on the keyboard. The LED route indicator, I'll show you guys in just a minute. That's going to let people use LEDs to indicate the route. If they can't see it, obviously, that's going to help them. And the leaderboard is the kind of thing where once people start to fly your course, or if you have flown your course and there is some times on the leaderboard, which I'll show you in a sec, you can land on this, and every time you land on this, it'll update the leaderboard and display it for you in the track, which is an awesome new feature. So let's make a course. We got our launch pad here. I'm going to use this block that we started on before to sort of make a little ramp, I think. So I'll tilt it down. Oops, tilt it the other way. And actually, I think I'm going to make another one. I'm kind of doing this differently than I thought, but whenever I'm making a course, I get new ideas while I'm making it, and that's just always going to happen. So let's see. I'm just going to add this, I don't know, right there. So we got the launch pad. Let's put our first gate, F1 number 1, right here, and I'll make it bigger. Why not? I kind of like the blue color, but I could change it. Now we're going to ramp over here to F2 number 2 is this tunnel. And I think I want it to sort of spit you out this way. Yep, it's going to go up here. And let's just add, I'm going to add one more block right here. Watch this. F3 number 1. Use the right click and use the arrow keys to make a little post out of it. Then I'll raise this up and let's set a gate on top of it. Well, I'm going to make it a little taller. Set a gate, not quite that tall. Set a gate on top of it, F1 number 1 right there. I'll make it a red one, and why not make it bigger? Alrighty. Next, we're going to come back down right here. I'll give this one a little bit of tilt so that it makes more sense, and let's make it green by pressing the C button. So we've got start gate, launch pad, start gate, tunnel, this little gate up on the post here, and then we're coming back down here. I want to launch one more time off this one, so let's put a gate right. I'm just gonna do F1 number 2, and let's grow it up a little bit. How about pink? And use the R to rotate it like so. And now we'll launch off, how about with another tunnel? Why not? Let's put a kitty tunnel right here. A little bit of R for rotating. Right click R to rotate it the other way. And I'm just kind of guessing here, you guys. So now I'm just going to add some tiny whip gates here. Using the R button and right click R to rotate again. And how about a cube gate right there for no good reason. Okay. I'm going to do something a little tricky with this cube gate, but I'll show you in a sec. So the course is going to be, first of all, let's test the flow. Press B, jump in your tiny whoop. And because I haven't reloaded the course, the launch pad is still far away, but I'll show you how to fix that. So it's going to go up here, hit this gate, back down here, hit this gate, through the tunnel, tiny whip gate 1, tiny whip gate 2, and then I think with this cube I'm going to go like this, where you go that way, and then this way, and then come around. So now that I kind of got an idea of the flow, I'm going to put some cones and maybe an arrow down just quickly. To make a floating arrow, I like to use this block right here, F3 number 1, grow it up to there, and the idea is when you come out of this tunnel, you want to be able to see where to go next. So I think the arrow, oh, there's a big whoop sticker.
Sorry, they're all out.
Oh, never mind that. I already put down a launch pad. You can only put down one. So I'm just going to make this arrow indicator right here. And I'll make it bigger. And yeah, I like it pink. So after I put that arrow down, I'm just going to delete that. So we have a little floating arrow making the course really obvious. Sort of. Because I put that in a weird place, I'm going to set this right here. So, you know, yeah, whatever. Okay. I made that arrow too low, which you'll see in a second. But let's add some cones. For this kind of thing, I like to have a bird's eye view. But I'll do some cones using F2 number 4, leading up to there. We got an arrow there. I'm just going to put some cones here. And I'd probably do a better job spacing these out. Oh yeah, this is the part where we kind of need cones to indicate where to go. So you're going to go through here, and then go around. Oops, let's just say around into the cube gate like this. Seems pretty obvious. And then from here, right back into there. So, pretty obvious, pretty cool little course, easy to build. Let's go over here, and it's time to save locally.
Okay, saved locally.
And I'll save to cloud also.
Saved okay.
And let's see. So, because I want to use the new launchpad instead of the original one, I'm just going to exit the course quickly, leave the track, come back in, and you can see I'm on my new launchpad. I put that cone a little too close, didn't I? So here it is from the new launchpad up here. Arrow tells me to go this way. Back into the green gate, turn around down here. Sweet, so there's the course. Now it's time to add the zones. Press B to get back into Builder.
You can now move using mouse and A, W, S, D keys.
Now I'm going to hit renumber zones and listen to what this guy says.
Zone numbering has been reset. Now fly the track in the correct sequence.
So yeah, now we're going to do exactly what he said, fly the track in the correct sequence. You can fly the track with your builder camera if you want to, but I like to just hop on board the TinyWhoop and do what he said, fly the track in the correct sequence. And by the way, when you go through the first gate, you'll hear a little beep that means it started. So here we go. There's my beep. And now I'm just going to carefully fly the course and not miss any gates to order all the zones. And this is just telling the system which order I want everybody to hit the gates in when it's time to fly.
Zone numbering complete.
Time 19.
So, zone numbering complete. That means it is totally good to go, and we can test that right now. And you'll hear it'll tell me my lap times, but let's do a quick 3 laps. Oops. Oops. Cut that one a little tight, huh?
Lap 1. Time 17.18.
17-second lap for number 1.
Lap 2. Time 15.46.
15.46 for my last lap there. Let's see if we can beat it here. Oh no, I'm not going to beat it after that error.
Lap 3.
All right.
Time 16.26.
So as you can see, it said that I updated the leaderboard, so I can actually, if I want, fly over here, land on the leaderboard, and it's going to update really quick. Yeah, there's my time, 48.91. And as other pilots fly your course, it'll just populate this leaderboard with all their times, tell you who's in first place, second place, 10th place, 20th place. You get the idea. Then just fly right off of there. And yeah, let's actually do the LED route indicator. So it's telling me right now to save and reload the track. So I'm going to go do that. Save local.
Okay, saved locally.
Load it.
Loaded from local system.
Save it to cloud.
Saved okay.
Load it from cloud. There we go. So now when I jump into the TinyWhoop, it says LED route indicator status off. Route has 9 gates. So land on pad to turn on and off. I land on this. Now it's turned on. And as you can see, my first gate is now white. And it's going to make all the gates white in order. And this really helps people that can't immediately sight read your course. Tells them what the next gate is. Which is actually really handy. And these TinyWhoop gates light up with this cool white bar like that. So that's the route indicator. And that's pretty much all you have to do to make your course. Let's jump back into Builder and yeah, have one more look at this course. I'm just going to go up here and look down. This is also a really nice way to critique your course. You might notice that something's off your flow, like right now I noticed that this cone's out of whack and this cone's out of whack. I like everything to look really clean, but it's not really necessary. Just kind of how I like my courses to look. And that's pretty much everything you guys need to know. The only other thing I can think of is I want to teach you guys how to use this grid tool, which is kind of interesting. If I press G, you can see I get this different cursor. So with the original cursor, I'm going to try to lay a bunch of gates along this line right here on the ground. Press F1, number 1, number 1, number 1, number 1, number 1. And then if I go to this cursor right here, hit G, and now it's like on grid cursor. So if I hit number 1, 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 it pretty much is snapping these gates to an invisible grid that's below the ground. It's not the yellow and red grid you can see here, that's just for your reference, but there's an invisible grid below ground that it's snapping gates to if I'm on grid cursor. You can kind of see that if I go down here, this tunnel, it's pretty, I actually did a really good job eyeballing a straight line here, but if I go right here, you can see it's like perfectly straight. You know, it's like, oops, whatever. You get the idea. All these gates are perfectly lined up. All these gates are not perfectly lined up. They're like a little bit off because I eyeballed them, even though I did a really good job. Anyway, that is the grid tool, which you can, you know, just like it says here, you can press G to toggle the grid tool on and off. The only other thing I want to mention is we do have a undo key. So if you accidentally delete something, press the U button, U for undo. It's a super handy tool, and you're going to find that a relief for a lot of your frustration, because sometimes when you're grabbing, like, for example, if I'm trying to grab this gate and move it like this, but I accidentally grab this thing, it's hard to get it immediately back underneath there, but the undo tool will put it there. So guys, that's everything. I think that's everything. I mean, the only other thing we could kind of do is maybe hide some big whoop stickers under here, or on the sides of here, or maybe on the sides of this post, or maybe just really far away in a place you'd never look. Maybe we make a platform up there at the top of the ceiling and put some landing pad up there, or I don't know, some big whoop stickers. That's it, you guys. That's the course builder as it is right now. We're always working to add more features and course elements coming in the future, but I think you're going to find it's really fun to build tracks. I have as much fun building tracks as I do flying them, because I'm always hitting that B button and testing the flow, making myself new exercises. It's made me a way better pilot, and I've gotten really creative in my like real world course building, because I get to try out all kinds of stuff in the sim super easy and fast, just like we did together just now. So thank you one more time for checking out the video. Thank you for joining the Creators Club. And if you make a course, please post it in the Facebook group and tag me, because I want to try it. I want to try all the courses. I'm going to be perusing, I'm going to be browsing the Creators Club as often as I can. So thanks for watching one more time, guys, and I'll see you in the group. Whoop on.